We made it. It's Friday.
Yep.
Jim, Sean, Amadeus, we're here for you. It's been a long week, boys, and fun day. We got college basketball tournaments. We got soccer. We got the World Baseball Classic. We got a little bit of everything, and it's all going to blend into the weekend. So more than we can say grace over. Almost as much as we got screens of television for. So we're going to have to plan this out so that we can watch everything at once because there's a lot going on. You want to talk about yesterday, guys? I mean, there was a lot of Sean, you were talking about the soccer that was goal day yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Europa League, the games, 2-0 Bayer Leverkusen, 2-0 Roma, Sporting Arsenal game. We talked about it during the show, 2-2. I mean, great game. Union Berlin, USG 3-3. The late games, Juventus just about held off Freiburg. Manchester United were awful in the first half and then just turned it on after halftime now 4-1. So, hopefully for them, they go next week and they can rest some players. Sevilla looked great against Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce was terrible. And Shakhtar Donetsk, Feyenoord scored in the 88th minute to make it 1-1. There's two late goals there. In the Conference League, West Ham 2-0, Anderlecht, Villarreal 1-1, Nice 1-0. Those were all the early games we talked about. Basel and Slovan Bratislava, another great game, 2-2. A lot of goals. The Fiorentina beat Sivasspor 1-0. I thought they maybe could have put the tie away. They really kind of left Sivasspor in it, at 1-0. Ghent, Başakşehir 1-1. Those goals are both first half goals, and the other game was Lech Poznan beat Djurgården 2-0. So Cerro Porteño beat Fortaleza 1-0, and Copa Libertadores Hurricanes Cristal 0-0.
I watched that Fortaleza game. It was bad.
Yeah,
Fortaleza was awful in that game, and then it really up until the 80th minute when Cerro Porteño got a red card, and then finally Fortaleza was pouring it on in that last 10 minutes, but they still couldn't do anything, and their attack was just hopeful balls into the box, hoping somebody gets ahead on it.
Sometimes I watch those games at night because there's not much else on. And you sit there and, they're interesting games. And then just sometimes you watch them and just like, it happens, I think, sometimes with the Mexican League games. They're just like, it's just terrible games. They're terrible to watch. I mean, it's going to end up either 0-0 or 1-0. You don't know which way. But it's just, they're tough sometimes to watch, man. I don't know. The Copa Sudamericana last night, Blooming, 6-0. Blooming is in Bloom, 6-0. So, LAFC, huge win last night on the road, 3-0. So
late goal got my over in that one.
Yeah, and so far here, LAFC won 3-0. Vancouver 5-0 against Real España. So that basically tie is over. Atlas is going to be out. That's they lost 4-1. Orlando City 0-0, Union 0-0, and Austin FC were got smoked 3-0 by Violeta. Austin FC has not started.
Weren't they like a minus 1,400 in that game or something like that?
It was a weird line, and they got absolutely annihilated.
$10 on the other team would have won you something like $300, $400. That's how crazy those odds were.
So they're going to be out. The Union could go through. Orlando City could go through. Vancouver's through already, and LAFC is going to be through already. So, I think that LAFC team, this is all the round of 16. I think that LAFC team has a chance to maybe win the tournament at this point. Obviously, the Mexican teams, Tigres, if Orlando City can knock out Tigres, that would be huge. They have a chance here now because, 0-0 in Mexico. So, very, very interesting games yesterday, and It's another today's Getafe.
They always play on Friday, Cadiz. It's like they're the designated Friday team.
Yeah, and all the other leagues, Spezia, Inter, Lyon, they're putting the teams that are in the Champions League, on Friday. So I don't know. They
and instead they put Real Madrid. They get like the 8 o'clock game on Saturday.
I don't understand why they wouldn't just put them on Friday at 9. It would be 9 o'clock over there. I mean, Friday night. I think that'd be interesting. I guess they don't play on Fridays, but why not?
Exactly. Why not?
Stoke and Blackburn today is an interesting game. Blackburn right now 4th in the table. Stoke is they're in the middle of the pack, 43. They won't go down, they won't go up. But the championship now is starting to get pretty interesting there. The 5, 6, 7 right now separated by only 3 points, and then there's starting to be a little bit of a gap now back to Coventry City in 8th at 52 points, West Brom in 9th, 51, Watford on their 15th coach of the season on 51 points. So it's going to be interesting. Watford, I think, absolute train wreck. Fired Slaven Bilic, brought another coach in. I don't know if you saw Scotty Parker got fired by Bruges. I never understood. Bruges brought him in. It was like when David Moyes went to Spain and he was like, was Dos Sarah. Like, he couldn't even speak Spanish, and he's trying to do these interviews. You're just like, well, I just don't understand why. So it's a weird appointment, but yeah, it's a pretty good day of games, and obviously there's about 1 million basketball games today.
Yeah, there's I'll give you some quick scores while we got it up here, and that is Purdue is beating Rutgers by a score of 62-56. That's the 1 and the 9 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Conference USA is Florida Atlantic 47 and Middle Tennessee 40. That's the 1-4 in the Conference USA tournament. SEC Alabama at halftime by 20 over Mississippi State, 41-21.
Roll Tide.
There you go. Houston in the second half. This is the second half now. Houston 25, East Carolina 21. That's the 1 and 9 CBAAC tournament. Just getting underway is Michigan State, Ohio State in the Big Ten, Cincinnati and Temple in the AAC, the SWAC, Texas Southern, Alabama A&M, and UAB, North Texas. Those games will come up at the 3 o'clock hour. SEC, it'll be Missouri and Tennessee at 3:30 on the tip. And 7 o'clock tonight, if you're an ACC fan, it's Miami and Duke 1 and 4. And that's on ESPN at 7 o'clock. So that's where we are on the college basketball scoreboard.
I used to get into this thing where you'd go and you'd pick eight teams, this snake draft, and
Like a survivor pool?
Yeah, you'd get 8, and whoever had the most, you get 1 point for each win that your team gets. You pick 1 through 8, and then 8-1, 1-8, 8-1, and this year I think is going to be interesting, but I'm not getting in. I mean, I just haven't watched enough, and I just feel like I would be throwing my money away at this point. I have no confidence in picking any of these games. I think these brackets are going to be really interesting to see, because I mean, you just kind of looking at the way the bracket's set up now, like, you got a Duke against the Oral Roberts, who just, went unbeaten through the league and, won 30 games. You got the playing games right now, Utah State, Arizona State, Rutgers, Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are really equal in this. You got Yale against an Indiana. Obviously, these aren't the matchups, but, Yale against Indiana. And Yale hasn't won the Ivy League yet, but, they probably will. So it's hard to pick. I think more so than ever. It's these teams. There's no team that's any dominant.
Well, no, and the thing that we when you got so many teams that are, the parities there, the ball rolls the wrong way, off the rim or whatever, and all of a sudden, your win is a loss. And Amadeus and I were talking about this earlier. You really have to have guard play, and I like the times that you pay attention to what's going on with, how many teams have played together for 3 or 4 years. I mean, that really does help. Now, obviously, if you've got superstar athletes on your team, then that'll do it. But there aren't that many superstar athletes in this particular class, which makes it interesting. I don't know. You throw a blanket over 10 teams. I would think that any one of the 10 could win the national championship at one time.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty close. I mean, I just could come from anywhere.
And no one conference has it either. And that makes it interesting too, because you don't have to worry about. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna, the Big 12 is loaded, but doesn't mean that. I mean, how many times, Sean and Amadeus, have we seen an ACC or a Big East or even a Pac-12 where they get 6 teams in? But this happens in the SEC all the time. They get 6 or 7 teams in. At the end of the first week, there's like one left. They just all bomb out at the same time.
Yeah, it's it's tough because when the Big 12 has won this tournament lately, and
right.
The Pac-12 hasn't done great, but I just sometimes when you're doing these trends with teams, I just have a feeling this year these trends are just gonna all blow up. Like I like UCLA. I think UCLA and Arizona are gonna go really deep into the tournament. UCLA would probably be my pick right now. UCLA, and I actually like Gonzaga now that they have really no pressure. I mean they were the number 1 seed so many times, the number 1 team, and everyone expected them to win. The 2 times they were in, they lost to North Carolina and they lost to Baylor. But I actually think this year they could actually win it because they're playing better and they have the same kind of team and stuff like that. So, but you just
they've got a senior.
If they lost in the second round, I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun to watch. Bill Self has some flu-like symptoms, so he won't be coaching Kansas today. But everybody else will be around, so it looks like that'll be a good one. And this weekend, we talked about it earlier. There's going to be some World Baseball Classic games where the United States is involved. Captain America himself, the pride of the Lehigh Valley, the Delaware Valley, that would be Mike Trout, is leading Team America. So we'll see how that plays out as things get underway in not too long.
Yeah, it's what time is that? I don't even know what time.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's the baseball game. It's I went to the wrong screen. Let me get my World Baseball Classic screen up. And of course,
Ohtani is playing pretty well, I guess.
Yeah, how about that? Friday, Japan beat Korea earlier today, 13-4, in a real pitchers duel. Chinese Taipei 11, Italy 7. Then later tonight, Australia's going to play China at 10 o'clock. Italy plays Panama tonight.
Wow. 8 games tomorrow.
Yeah. Japan and the Czech Republic at 5 a.m. Taipei and the Netherlands. If the Netherlands wins that, they're going through, because that would be 3 wins. There's no way anybody's going to do that. Puerto Rico and Nicaragua at noon. Then we got Mexico, Colombia at 2:30 on the Big Fox. Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, 7 p.m. U.S. and Great Britain in a
Oh,
game of rounders at
wait
9
for that game. Wait till we win that game 300-0.
Right. Well,
Wait
we got a
till
mercy
we're
rule.
after
So
that.
we might make the mercy rule. So, and then let's finish up the tomorrow. Korea versus Czech Republic and Cuba
So
versus
Czech Republic's got to play at 5 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. There's we saw Italy played. Italy played today, and they're playing again today.
Yeah, so I guess that's like a night game and then an early afternoon game.
Yeah.
Because where are those games in Japan, right?
Those are Tokyo, I think.
They're in Tokyo, yeah.
So they played whatever time, and then they'll play like 11 p.m. here is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like it's a night game and a morning game, basically.
Yep.
So tomorrow, what is it? There's
So Japan tomorrow, the Czech Republic's playing Japan at 5 a.m. here, which is
right.
Whatever time theirs.
Yeah, the night game, I guess.
5 o'clock. Yeah, 5 o'clock at night, and then they're playing again at 11 a.m., 10 p.m., which is the next day.
Yeah.
It's still pretty tough, but
yeah, I mean, it's,
you could give them a couple more. You could give them a couple minutes more.
right.
But yeah, it's and then Chinese Taipei and Cuba at 11. So same thing. Chinese Taipei's got the same thing. They play at night and then they come back in the morning. So yeah, that's tough schedule.
It's worth giving a shot. That's for sure.
Mexico, U.S. on Sunday night. I think that'll be interesting. Could be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a chance. And
Mexico or United States, Canada, Monday.
I thought they were going to start us off with that one and like kill all our hopes, but they threw us a bone in our first game. We don't play till like Sunday, and who was it? I forget who we're playing. I think isn't it?
I got it right here.
Yeah. Who's
Canada play Sunday? Great Britain.
Okay, that's what I thought it was Great Britain, but I wasn't sure when you said the U.S. was playing them first.
A chance to get back at the motherland.
Yeah, so
on the Great Britain team. I got to see this. They don't even have any games. They've never played any games.
Yeah, well, I mean, take a look at Canada's team. We're not any better. Tell me if you can name a major leaguer on that team.
Let's see what their roster is. Donovan Benoit.
That's he's French. Doesn't count.
Daniel Cooper, Jake Esch.
There was a Lopez on the Italian team, and I was like, wait a minute.
How are these people playing for Great Britain?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny.
Am I eligible? My relatives came over.
I was going to say there's a very good chance that you could do it, Sean.
Alex Webb. My relatives came over in 1620. Am I
dual citizen?
400 years ago.
You got eligibility.
Alex Webb is on there. I think he's
right.
I think he won a Cy Young before, didn't he?
Webb?
Alex Webb won a Cy Young, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll check. Alex Webb. I know he's good, but I don't know if he won a Cy Young.
Oh no, that was Brandon Webb. Diamondbacks Brandon Webb won the Cy Young.
Yeah. No, this guy is. Yeah, this guy is a young kid from University of Alabama.
Yeah. I remember.
University of Alabama. So the U.S. didn't want him, but he was like, "Hey, I can go play for Great Britain in this World Baseball Classic."
There's a lot of guys who do that.
PSG need a clear out after yet another Champions League failure. Time for Messi, Ramos, Neymar, Gaultier to go.
Oh, did you hear about Barcelona?
They got indicted for the.
I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come out about that.
Charged for paying off the refs.
Look, I mean, I don't like Chelsea at all, but 2009, that semifinal. It should have been Manchester United and Chelsea in the final again, and we would have beat Chelsea again for the second straight year. That semifinal, when Drogba was like, we got robbed. That was the biggest robbery I've ever seen. Chelsea got absolutely robbed. And they've been doing this stuff for years, so I don't have any sympathy for this for Barcelona, because there's been some dodgy stuff going on for a long time.
Well,
you'd say that in every league, though.
Well, yeah, you could, and you'd probably be right.
They tried to bring that guy on as like they tried to bring him onto like the board or something. Like it was like super.
Well, that's crazy.
Erling Haaland is going to go maybe to Real Madrid here.
Is that a firm though?
Well, I think he's got
maybe
he has a buyout clause. He wants to buy him in 24, but maybe they're trying to pull up the thing. But I don't know. I mean, he's clearly not going to be at City forever. I mean, if he was, they wouldn't have put that buyout clause in there.
Hey guys, in the audience, Amadeus, our buddy, is going to be in Vegas next week. So, with that in mind, please give us if you've been to Vegas, give us your must-sees so Amadeus can put it on his list. So, there you go. Must-sees in Vegas for Amadeus. We want to give him something to see while he's out there on the strip for the NCAA tournament.
Oh, is that why you're going there?
Yeah, I'm going to catch some March Madness.
Catch the madness.
Yeah, doing it the proper way at the sports books in Vegas. So
I will tell you that I've never been there for that, but I've been there for Super Bowl, and that's crazy. It's actually more fun than actually being where the Super Bowl is being played.
It's going to be in the.
Go ahead, Sean.
Is the Super Bowl in Vegas
this year? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did 3 Western cities. They went L.A., Phoenix, Vegas, and I think they're coming back to New Orleans or Atlanta.
Louisiana in 2025.
Yeah.
And then they're targeting Levi Stadium for 2026.
They're going back to San Francisco?
Yeah, that's what
nice.
They're targeting.
So Vegas, the new home of Jimmy G, and then San Francisco, the old home of Jimmy G.
Did he go to did Jimmy G go to Vegas?
It looks like it's gonna happen. Nothing's official yet, but it looks like
I didn't see it. I'm like, okay.
It looks like if the Raiders can't get Lamar Jackson, then Jimmy G is the next best thing, I guess.
Well, they're so much alike. You could interchangeable. They're totally interchangeable.
I know, right? Those play styles are just like,
yeah. I mean, you gotta
throw next man up.
Right. You got one guy who runs 40 and 4.7, and you got one guy who runs at 6.10. So yeah. Exactly. So hey, they like Derek Cargo, who's now in New Orleans for a 4-year deal. So we'll see how that works out. It's not necessarily a good one. I haven't seen any of the TPC this week. Anybody check on what's going on in the Island Green?
I think the scores were pretty low.
It's a rough weekend.
I saw where were they? Ramey is -10, Morikawa is -7, Griffin -6. Yeah, yep. So
the wind must not be blowing there.
Yeah, they're tearing up the course right now. So
sawgrass, that's the only thing that kills you. It's the wind. Everything else you should that you could get a 17 on the 17th hole and still end up making the cut there. But if there's no wind, but boy, if there's wind, that plays because the last 3 holes are all on water.
And John Rahm is out.
He didn't maybe make the cut, or he
has a stomach illness or something like that.
Yeah, he withdrew.
He ate at the local, pancake house.
Shouldn't have done that.
Right. There you go. There was a viral video of Ricky Stenhouse, the guy who won this year's Daytona 500, who, for luck, always ate the night before at a Waffle House in Daytona Beach. And so they see him after the race bringing the trophy into the Waffle House and putting it on the counter so that everybody could have their picture taken with it.
Hey, if they helped him win,
hey, good on them, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we've all, I've been to Waffle House. It's like it's the American version of Tim Hortons. So.
Yeah.
Barcelona has been charged with corruption after payments totaling over 7.3 million euros were made to the ex-vice president of Spain referees committee between 2001 and 2018. Wow, we're going to get 2 more Champions Leagues, 2009 and 2011.
Well, all seems to be right with the world now because Houston has opened up a 10-point lead on East Carolina, 36-26 with 13 minutes left to go in the second half. Alabama is laying the wood to Mississippi State. That's 52-31 with 13 left to go. We still haven't had a tip in Michigan State and Ohio State. And
they're probably waiting for that Purdue game.
Yeah, things have gotten really tight in the game between Florida Atlantic, this number 1 seed from the Conference USA tournament, against Middle Tennessee State. That's 57-55 with 3 minutes left to go in that game. And Purdue, the number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament, beat Jersey's own Rutgers 70-65. That's the only game that is in the books right now, boys.
Wow.
UCLA plays tonight, right?
Yeah, all the good stuff is tonight.
Yeah, after let's try this again. UCLA plays the early game in Vegas, which is 9:00. It's 1-4, and that's Oregon. And my goodness gracious, has UCLA had fits with Oregon over the years. We're going all the way back to John Wooden had trouble with Oregon. So that ought to be an interesting game. 9:00 also Maryland, Indiana in the Big Ten. That should be an interesting game. And see if anything else pops up there. We already told you about Miami and Duke. There's a lot of things to stay away from. The WAC, Sam Houston, Grand Canyon has been decent from time to time. But we'll see how that works out. And I think let's see what the latest game, the late games. Vandy and Kentucky in the SEC starts at 9:30. TCU and Texas also at 9:30. Utah Valley and Southern Utah, no idea. Okay, Arizona State is at 11:30. So there you go. That might be a play-in game for Arizona State.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I don't know that. I don't think, I shouldn't say I don't know. I don't think Arizona State's got the juice to beat Arizona, but they could probably keep it close. But man, that's a tough one for them. So we'll see. That's where we are on the scoreboard. And we already talked about the baseball classic. That's got that. What's soccer wise? What are you looking for over the weekend? Anything good?
Yeah. me take a look here for Saturday. The early game tomorrow's Bournemouth, Liverpool, no interest. Everton, Brentford. The 10 o'clock games tomorrow are interesting. Everton, Brentford, Leeds, Brighton. I like Brighton. I like Brighton a lot in that game. Leicester, Chelsea. I think that's an interesting game. I got to see if Chelsea can keep this going because they're starting to maybe kind of move in the right direction. Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. Conte's he's done. Man, he's not going to be there next year. I don't know why. Like, he just had the gallbladder surgery. I mean, he doesn't want to be there. I don't know why he doesn't just step down at this point. Tottenham should win that though, but they were atrocious the other day. I think Palace City could be. I think it could be 3-0 City, or I just think it could be a tough game. Palace has the players to kind of give City some issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be an interesting game. Like I said, Madrid plays in that early game against Espanyol. Espanyol is 13th in the table. Madrid is already through. Probably they're up 5-2. So, I don't know that they'll be looking ahead. The Serie A, I think Napoli, Atalanta, Saturday. Once again, the same thing. I think Napoli plays. They play Wednesday or Tuesday. Napoli plays Wednesday at home against Frankfurt. The Porto, Inter, and City Leipzig are Tuesday. So Napoli, same thing. I mean, they're really kind of trying to finish off the league there. They're so far ahead. They have a 15-point lead over Inter here with 13 games to play. It's not quite done, but
it's getting there.
It's Napoli has 2 losses all season. Napoli's only dropped points in 4 games this year. Inter has 7 losses, so that kind of tells you, just how good they've been. They've only allowed 16 goals. They've scored 58 and they've only allowed 16. Both of those are the best in the league. So, they're not going to all of a sudden fall apart. Atalanta allows some goals, so that could be interesting. But I don't know which, Bayern plays Augsburg, the German games. I pay attention to that. Brest plays PSG. PSG's a mess in League One. I don't know. That could be interesting to see how they respond. But they're dead. I got Gaultier's dead man walking anyway. It's either going to be Tuchel or somebody. So we'll see. Could be Zidane.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like to tread lightly on these weekends with the Champions League coming up in the midweek. Like Inter Milan today was a team I stayed off. Like who knows what they're gonna do? They got a big match midweek. They got to travel to Portugal for that one to play Porto, and they only have the 1-0 lead. So that's going to be a tight 1-0 game for somebody. Whoever wins that one, those two same teams. So. Like Real Madrid, like we touched on, they're playing the early game. Like they haven't been playing great in the league though. They've kind of been ignoring their league matches with all these great.
Good to see Ryan in the house.
Yeah, Red Cape. That's my guy.
I didn't know Jim was a soccer guy. Have you been? And then Foxy says you could tell Sarah Patino been playing important league games. Fortaleza was way off it. State league does nothing for the Serie A teams. Yeah, Atletico Mineiro were all for versus Millonarios. Yeah, I think. It helps. I think it helps the league in general, but it doesn't help some of those teams, that need to to play to qualify. So I think you're kind of in a little bit of a catch-22 there. But they probably, they probably aren't going to win it anyway. But
you know what? It works out for you, Foxy. Now you're getting less Brazilian teams in it.
Hey, guys, Ryan's our NASCAR guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rye's a NASCAR guy. Hey, Rye, do us a favor. Give us who you think's gonna win this week.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, he used to do NASCAR show. He's
Okay.
Oh, he
He's
still does. You can find him
really?
over.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find him on the Insiders Room. He does stuff. He's on Pick Advisor with me, so he does.
Okay.
He does the NASCAR report.
We love Rye.
You know, I think Sunday is interesting for, you know, in the Premier League specifically because, you know, Arsenal's at Fulham and, you know, Arsenal just played that tough game in Lisbon and has to, you know, now they're not through. So, you know, they're going to have to come, you know, they're going to have to put their guys, you know, obviously they're in a title race here. Manchester United plays Southampton. You know, I think that, you know, should be straightforward, but you never know. Aston Villa and West Ham, you know, once again, West Ham had no problems. They took their players off after 60 minutes, but travel to Cyprus and then you got to come back, you know, and play a tough Aston Villa team who's been playing better. And then Newcastle plays Wolves, Logano, Larson,
and Bell. So
Lock it in.
It's a Chevy Ford deal, right? This week.
And I just want to say, I know Foxy's watching. You know, hey, I don't know if you saw what Julian Lopetegui did today at the press conference at Wolves. He came in and brought all those reporters food. You know, and the reporters were saying, "Oh man, thank you for bringing us all this food." And now they're saying all these nice things about Wolves, and you know, he gave the referees some food, and now maybe they're going to get some calls this weekend against Newcastle instead of the richest team in the world getting all the calls. That'd be nice to see. I think maybe we get some even calls there.
It's amazing how the Wolves version of a bribe is food, but then you got Barcelona actually bringing things onto the payroll. You can really tell like the difference in class there, level of flow,
or knowledge of how to bribe. What did they do with other? Yeah.
Lopetegui was a Real Madrid guy, so you know he knows how to. He knows the ropes.
Well, you know, Sean, we need to get some of those. We need the Tasty Cake guys to get them over to Wolves. So there you go. Bill's driving a Toyota. That's right.
Foxy, I would actually be interested.
Ryan, it's always a pleasure, dude. Thanks.
To see what Foxy thinks about this game because you know this obviously Wolverhampton is playing much better of late. You know, they had the big win against Tottenham at home. They play better at home, I think. You know, they drew with Fulham. You know, they beat Southampton. They beat Liverpool 3-0. You know, they beat West Ham 1-0. You know, I would be interested to see. I know they're at home. Newcastle's at home here. So, but, you know, I think that could be an interesting game on Sunday. That's the only game there where both teams weren't in Europe early. So, and that's actually the late game because the clocks go forward. So it'll be 12:30 on Sunday.
Oh, good. Is this weekend?
Yeah, clocks go forward Saturday at 2 a.m. or Saturday night, you know, like Sunday morning, 2 a.m. So, yeah, they go
forward. We lose an hour this weekend.
We lose an hour. Yeah, we lose an hour between Saturday and Sunday night. So,
great.
Yeah, it's, you know, so now all the games on, you know, for the next couple weeks, well, there's only the two because then there's the international break. International break. And then by the time.
What is it for again?
What? I'm sorry, what?
The international break. It was for
just I don't even know.
The Europe qualifiers?
I don't know. No.
Oh, wait, you said it was just a bad one, right? You said like Argentina was playing these.
I'm gonna try to find out. Like,
I'm gonna ask Rye a question while we're waiting here. Rye, are you an IMSA fan? Because this is the weekend of the 12 Hours of Sebring, and that's always a great race. I gotta tell you. If you're into sports car racing and you get a chance to go to Sebring, it is really fun. I used to go there often, and
Amadeus, it's the first. Italy plays England on Thursday, March 23rd. So it's the first day of it's match day 1 and match day 2 of Euro 2023 qualifying. Match day 3 and 4 during the June when the Nations League is playing.
Okay, because I was going to say England. It can't be Nations League. They don't belong in Group A with Italy.
No, this is Euro qualifying.
Yeah, they're a relegated team.
Yes.
Nothing good.
And then
nothing good going for that England team.
Portugal
happen,
Liechtenstein. It's interesting because there's some good games. Italy plays England, France plays Netherlands, Croatia plays Wales, Spain plays Norway. Obviously,
Croatia plays Wales.
Yeah, yep. Serbia plays Lithuania. Sweden plays Belgium. There's some decent games, and then you got some. England plays Ukraine in match day 2, so there'll be all the flags out and all that stuff.
You know what? That might not be a bad game. We'll have to see how England plays in that first one.
Portugal has to play Liechtenstein in the first game, and then Luxembourg in the second day of. Like, come on, man.
What the hell kind of group did they get?
It's where are they at? Bosnia, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Slovakia, and Portugal.
That can't be a real group.
No.
Jay.
That can't even be a real group. Are you kidding me?
Wait.
That's like
Spain's
group D plus Portugal.
Spain's group is only 5 teams: Cyprus, Georgia, Norway, Scotland, and Spain. Like, why don't you just hand Spain the title?
Like, seriously, come on.
And then like Netherlands and France are in the same group.
England and Italy always find themselves in the same group. Like, why is that? Nations League, we're in the same group. Euro qualifiers, we're in the same group. It's like they don't want one of us in there.
Armenia, Croatia, Latvia, Turkey, Wales.
Wales has got to be.
I mean, that one's not terrible. That was like even.
Albania, Czech Republic, Faroe Islands, Moldova, and Poland.
Where the hell is
again? Like, that's not a terrible one. There's some parity there, right? Like, it's not a.
Won't be fighting Newcastle for sure. It's a game we need to win, but we can't score goals. Fans starting to turn on how. Yeah, look, I don't understand why Isak doesn't play from the start. I think Isak's got to play from the start. It's not working other ways. I think you got to change something. You just can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over. It only works for Ten Hag with, Weghorst. He finally scored yesterday.
Finally. The look on his face, too, was like, oh my God.
I can't believe it. He missed. He could have had a hat trick yesterday.
He's bad.
A hat trick. He stinks.
He's just bad, man.
Look, man, we need Anthony Martial back so badly, and the guy's just a walking.
He couldn't even believe himself he scored yesterday. The face he made when he ran to that corner was like, oh my God, finally. It's my second goal for Man United, but it feels like my first because I suck so bad.
He should have ran by the keeper and shook his hand.
Oh man.
Thanks for us stopping. Appreciate it.
Palestri came on. He was good. United has some young players coming through.
It took all the subs. Once you guys took like all the good players off, then it was like,
you know what happened? Once they took the lot off, Anthony and Wan-Bissaka play well together. Like the lot just doesn't have that kind of. He just doesn't. I don't know. They don't work together, but you can see it started changing. They started overlapping and they started doing stuff and they just started overloading that side. And then all of a sudden, like they had all the possession in the second half. Like it was all Manchester United. And they just started overlapping. They scored that goal. Anthony came from that side. But
he's too good.
Yeah, he's got to he's very polarizing in the on the United Twitter.
Yeah, you know what? I saw a lot of people criticizing him, like, what does he even do? And I'm like, he's arguably one of your best players by far. You have the speed on the left side with Rashford and Garnacho, and you have the finesse on the right side with Anthony. Not too many, maybe like Bruno, but not, and Casemiro maybe, but not too many of your players could score from the position he scored from yesterday. Like, he's just, I don't know, he's just got that curl to his shot. Yep. He's got that vision. It's just it's the Brazilian in him. I don't know what else to say about it. All the Brazilian, if you just watch like the Brazil national team, it's a lot of speed and finesse.
Yep.
The South Americans, they know how to do the finesse, that's for sure.
They play the finesse.
Yeah, no, it's true. If you just watch these teams, like, certain teams from certain areas in the world, they play, because I guess the leagues play certain styles there. Right. Just more different styles are more dominant in South America. It's a lot of finesse.
South America, the Samba boys, right? That's all.
In Italy, it's a lot not diving. It's right. That's just the style we play. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's a lot.
It's just the style we play. It's a lot of. It's not even diving at this point. It's just getting pushed over in a non-foul and looking up hopefully at the ref. Like, can we get a call? Yeah. I see too much of it in the Italian league, and honestly.
And the referee goes, "Do you have a tasty cake for me?" If you do, you get the call.
It bugs the hell out of me, because if you just get up, like, I would say like 6 out of 10 times the ball is in a position where you could go even maybe score, right? If you just get up and keep running. But no, these guys want to just stay down and act injured when they're not. But then the same thing will happen, and they put the ball in the net. And you see how quick in the replay they stand up to go run and celebrate at the corner. Right. It's like, all of a sudden I'm not injured now, but I can go get up in a second and celebrate.
I'm cured. And
it's amazing. I've seen him move faster to go celebrate a goal than to go get a rebound on a miss.
Right. On the bounce off. Yeah. 2 seconds left to go. Middle Tennessee State has the ball, and Florida Atlantic 67, Middle Tennessee State 65 with a deuce on the clock. So 2 seconds on the clock. Middle Tennessee State will try to get a shot off. East Carolina's come back on Houston, not that far, but Houston's 47-37 with 7:27 left to go in the first half of the AAC tournament, SEC. 7 minutes left to go in the first. It's Alabama, the number 1 seed, 57. Mississippi State headed for the bus, 38. They still haven't gotten Michigan State and Ohio State started yet, but hope springs eternal. Cincinnati and Temple will not be playing at 3:00 because they're playing after the game between Houston and East Carolina, and that's always a 30-minute break. So that's not going to happen.
I'm interested to see this UCLA game tonight. I actually may end up tuning in. Like you said, I know you said about Oregon. This UCLA team is really, really good.
They're very athletic.
To see if they can finish this off. And obviously, I think everybody in the world's rooting for UCLA Arizona final, except for maybe Arizona State and Oregon. But UCLA Arizona final, I would think UCLA would probably have a 1 seed locked up because of what they've done there. Arizona probably a 2 seed. Hopefully they're in different.
I don't know if they get. I don't know.
I think that could be a final.
Yeah, I don't know if the Pac gets 4 in.
Yeah.
I said I don't know that the Pac gets 4 in.
It's gonna be
because SC lost and they didn't look good losing.
Pac-12 is right now. They have 4 because of the they have Arizona State is the last team in the tournament right now.
Okay, so we got Arizona, UCLA, and who?
Arizona, UCLA, Arizona State would be the last team in, and
but SC's in there somewhere.
Pac-12. Yeah, I would think USC 14-6 in the league and 21-10. Let's see where they are bracketology. Trying to find them.
Yeah, that the thing that I thought was the loss last night hurt them because that was, you know,
They have USC as a 9 seed playing Florida Atlantic as the 8 seed in the Midwest with Kansas the 1.
okay. Is that Joe Lenardi?
Lenardi, yeah. I mean, there's not, they're probably 9 or 10. He never gets the teams right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He gets, yeah.
It's the seeds usually correct, but like it's never like.
Well, it's always the last, I'd say, dozen teams. Not dozen. It's the last 8
from 10 down.
Yeah, it's the last 8 or 10 teams. That's tough because all that information comes in almost in real time, and then have to knock. And the thing is, if you're on the committee and you have, your team happens to be in there, you can't vote, so you're not even in the room when the vote comes. So,
well, good news here for me. Despite the Anthony goal is so wasteful and he offers nothing, good ability. Yes, I think people are he's very polarizing. I don't, obviously, if he was a $40 million player, I think people wouldn't say as much, but they paid so much for him that he's got to get some goals now. Ten Hag said Christian Eriksen should be in contention to face Newcastle on the 2nd of April, which is good news for us, bad news for Foxy, obviously.
Trying to intimidate some people already.
Yeah, he's a little ahead of schedule. He's definitely going to feature for United again. But.
You know who else is back in training this week?
Who's that?
Jesus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he's back at practice. He's going to be making a comeback soon.
Yeah, I think same thing. He'll be. I would think he'll be back before right after the international break.
Yeah, and Arsenal's held down the fort. I mean, as well as they can. They're still in first place, so he's going to be a big boost now that they're playing better again.
Keep it in there.
No.
Say hi to everybody.
Hey, Luke.
Say hi.
No.
Hey, Luke. How are you?
Say how was school? Luke, how's school? He's got no interest. He saw the potato chips and he's got no interest.
Okay.
Saw the potato.
Only interested in potato chips. Kid eats more than. Oh, he's back.
The amazing Luke. He's back. Hey, Roger, the racing in Phoenix this weekend. Does it favor anybody? NASCAR's in Phoenix, and I'm asking Ryan if they
it's
favored.
I always like that track.
That's a 1-5 track like Vegas and Texas and all those other ones. Usually, I'm a team person, but usually that's been beneficial to the folks at Chevrolet.
Interesting, because I've been paying attention a little bit to obviously the F1 is a joke this year. Verstappen's going to win every race, but they're in Saudi next week, so it's interesting. The race in Bahrain was really straightforward, but the Christian Horner and everybody's kind of come out and already stated that Christian Wolf, because he's already come out and said that nobody is beating that car and they could win every race this year. So
You know about Red Bull?
yeah, it's still I want to go to the Vegas race. I got a text about it yesterday, so I'd love to go to that Saturday
That
night.
Vegas race is going to be off the hook.
Saturday night through the casino canyons.
Right down the strip. I mean, seriously.
I can't even wait. I mean, I'll be excited to go to that if I get a chance to. So
That's you get a hotel room on the strip, and you've got your own box.
yeah, And it's exactly. You don't even need to leave the.
I've actually been. I don't know if you guys have been to Dover, and the race there. You can stay in the hotel and watch the race from your hotel room. It faces the hotel is actually the track's actually built into the hotel and casino.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be that's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, that will be that'll be good. I'm glad to see more F1 racing in the United States. Now, Amadeus, did they run in Toronto or Montreal?
Montreal.
Yeah, I think it's Montreal. They usually
Yeah.
have the Grand Prix
I used to
there.
go to that every year. Yeah, what a great.
That's a great venue. I've been to the venue, but I've never.
It's on the island. Yeah, it was. I used to. We were going in 99, 2000, 2001, and it was like, I'd bring like $200 American, and it was like you couldn't spend it. Like it was crazy. It was like the exchange rate was like
Ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy. I was like, we were getting like a full steak dinner and like all the sides and like a beer for like $12 or $13 American. It was like, I don't know, it's probably like 20 Canadian. It was crazy. The exchange rate was so great.
Well, that's a great food town.
What a city, man.
Well, so's Toronto, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Not too bad. There we go. No match of the day tomorrow because everybody's not going to be on it. I don't know if anybody even watches that anymore, but
What's that?
Match of the day in England. It's they're having a meltdown because they told Gary Lineker not to do stuff, and he tweets political stuff, and now everybody's not doing it. So it's going to be, maybe they won't run it. It's kind of it's like it's a 90-minute show. It comes on at like 10:30 over there, because they're the only country in the world where you can't watch the 3:00 games, like the 10 a.m. games.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's odd.
So people would go home and watch this match of the day, and they would do 15-minute highlights of each game, and they'd talk about the game and blah blah blah, and that's whatever. So, but like, I like watching it when I'm over there because you can't watch obviously, but like when I'm here, like at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm gonna have it's Bournemouth, Fulham, Arsenal, Leeds. Is that tomorrow? Wait, that's April 1st. So it's Everton, Brentford, Leeds, Brighton, Leicester, Chelsea, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. So I'll have 3 of the 4 games on. I'll probably be watching like Leeds because that'll be on I'm sure that'll be the 10 o'clock game because they just only show the American games now. Leicester, Chelsea, and Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, or Everton, Brentford. I'll have all the 3 games on, so like I don't even need to watch it. There's no point. Like I'm watching the actual games, and then and we have at halftime of the show they show all the goals anyway. So
right,
it's really outdated.
So what you missed, you didn't miss.
Yeah, look, it's really outdated. There's a lot of things about England that are they're 15, 20 years behind.
Like
someone's at the door.
Houses.
It's a fashion show anyway now back home. Everybody always watches the highlights of the game before midnight. I know, Foxy. It's like it's ridiculous. I mean, they got it. This whole rule. It's old fashioned. Yeah, it's Gary Lineker and Alan. Look, man, I just the whole thing that's going on around it. There's a whole row because of the politics and stuff like this. But I mean, it's BBC and all this. It's like really just old-fashioned. They're like stuck in the 80s. It's not like that now. I mean, the stuff is, the streaming and things have moved on. And like you go over and you're just like, the TV is just like stuck in the eight. It's just so strange sometimes. Manchester's a progressive city because they have all the hotels and all the new restaurants and stuff. But there's also some stuff that is like, it's stuck in a time warp. So, it's a weird place sometimes you go. So, I just don't feel like it's like that in Canada or America.
Depends on where you are in Canada and America, I would imagine.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, because we have some places here in this country that are stuck in the 50s.
Well, yeah.
So, it's, one of the things that that I've been talking about is now we're going to get closer and closer to a situation where we have direct-to-consumer sports. So in other words, if you want to watch your favorite teams, you'll have that option to buy the team, to basically buy a season ticket for, to watch the games. And that's an old thing, but it's coming back because, look at all the people like Bally's and others who are out of the regional sports business. They're going bankrupt. So the leagues are taking it that way. I don't see why they don't do that in England, where they could, I would imagine they could make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, it's, I just, excuse me. If you could stream, like I have every streaming thing there is, I just, it's the world's moved on, and I think you have to be able to do all that stuff. But I don't know. Who knows?
Well, all we can do is the best we can do, right?
That's right.
So let's see okay. Any predictions for the weekend, guys? Anything that you want to earth-shatteringly predict? Other than that, Amadeus, you'll be leaving this weekend to go to Vegas? All right. We wish you safe travels.
Yes.
And,
there's going to be some good games. I will say.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the United States beats Great Britain in World Baseball Classic.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I probably won't watch that because it's going to be 15-0.
I'm not going to watch it either. I'm just saying it's all right, I'll tell you what. I'll go on a limb and say that UCLA wins the Pac-12.
Okay.
And beats Arizona.
All right, I'm going to say UConn wins the Big East tournament.
It's going out on the limb there. That's
hey, they're the 4 seed.
They are the 4 seed. That's true. But they're
playing
also
the 1 seed today.
That's right. So, all right. So we got we're out on Amadeus and I are out on limbs, which we seemingly are using a saw to cut off as we're speaking. So there, and Sean went on the limb. So.
Yeah, we both picked a team that they're gonna win, but you could say they're not gonna win.
Winning the national championship, so I figured I could go that far. And then Foxy is he's going out on a limb for him. No one from Great Britain will watch the Great Britain baseball game. That's it's probably true.
I'd say no one from Great Britain will watch Great Britain baseball. There's one guy, Foxy. There's this guy called Gripper. I don't know if you know, like, probably don't because he's United. He used to play rounders, and he's a big baseball guy. Like, he loves it. He's always like, yo, bring me a baseball jersey when you come over. Like, he watches, like, American baseball. He probably went to that game when they played at, like, West Ham. He'll probably be up at 2 a.m. watching that, but there's like nobody else. Like nobody cares.
Well, with a name like Gripper, it sounds like he should be pitching.
Yes.
Yeah, we could use it. Well, there you go. All right, boys. One final thought. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on a Friday afternoon?
No, I'm just gonna go watch some games.
Okay. Have a nice weekend. Travel safely, Amadeus. You got our phone numbers in case you get in trouble. You need us.
Well, get stranded in Vegas.
I got plenty.
Don't be texting me for bank card information though. If you lose all your money,
right? Hey, are you gonna meet up with that Allie Burns and the gang out there while you're out there?
I'm not 100% sure. We'll see who's around.
Well, if you do see Lenny and Allie, give them my regards.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely will.
They're good people. So, all right. For Sean, Amadeus, I'm Jim. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you 2:00 on Monday. And remember, next week, it's going to be madness and some special programming. Keep a lookout for it. Joe Wiz could be here. We could have a Joe Wiz sighting. You never know. So keep a lookout. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.